Hi, it's Sarah from My Treatment Cloth, and today I feel like I am practically fulfilling a life's goal or something. For I am finally getting to do my Bamboo Terry 3-in-1 Funky Baby Showdown.
Lalabye Baby vs. Funky Fluff. On my left, I have a Lalabye Baby cloth diaper, and on my right, I have a Funky Fluff Stay Dry Luxe System diaper. And I'm going to start off with the basic similarities between these. They are both one size 3-in-1 diapers, and yes, the Lalabye is only advertised as being an all-in-two pocket, but I'm going to level the playing field a little bit. They are both able to be used as either an all-in-one, an all-in-two, or a pocket diaper. They are both made in China. They both come in only snap closure. They both feature 2 crossover snaps here on the right, as well as a hip snap on either side. They both feature 10 snaps for the waist and thigh, which are in line with one another. And they both have 4 rows and 2 columns for the rise adjustment. They both come with a suede cloth interior lining. They both have snaps for the inserts at both the front, or the back, and the front of the diaper. This one is a little bit underneath. There it is. They both have waterproof panels here at the front. They both have flaps covering the pockets in both the back and the front of the diaper. This long one, as you see here, and underneath here. They both have encased elastic around the legs and at the back. And they both come with both a small and a large Bamboo Terry insert. And these snap into the shell at the front and the back, and they snap into one another as well. So now I'm going to move on to some of their basic differences. As I mentioned, both of these diapers are made in China. However, Lalabye Baby is an American company, whereas Funky Fluff is a Canadian company. Lalabye Baby is a little bit cheaper at $19.95, whereas Funky Fluff's Stay Dry system is $23.45. The Lalabye Baby comes in only solids. What you see here with the solids with contrasting snaps is something they've done away with. And they do offer occasional prints as well. Whereas Funky Fluff comes in solids with contrasting snaps as well as prints. The waterproof linings are different. The Lalabye Baby is lined with TPU, whereas Funky Fluff is lined with PUL. And the position of the hip snaps is different. The Lalabye Baby has the typical waist row hip snaps that are placed 2 snaps apart, whereas Funky Fluff, the hip snaps are located along the thigh row. They are 2 snaps apart, but they are located along the thigh row, which is a little bit different from other diapers. The waist and thigh rows are different as well. As I mentioned, they both have 10 snaps per row, and these rows are in line with one another. However, the rows of the Funky Fluff are slightly farther apart than they are on the Lalabye Baby. The snaps of the Lalabye Baby are color-coded, whereas on the Funky Fluff they are not. The spacing of the Lalabye Baby snaps is completely even throughout, whereas on the Funky Fluff they are even other than these middle 2, which are just slightly farther apart. And the rows of the Funky Fluff actually extend a little bit farther than they do on the Lalabye Baby, allowing for a little bit extra room for the waist. The adjustments for the rise are a little different as well. They both have the 4 rows and 2 columns. However, the rows of the Lalabye Baby are spaced a little bit farther apart from top to bottom than they are on the Funky Fluff. And the columns on the Lalabye Baby are positioned somewhat close to the center of the diaper, whereas on the Funky Fluff, they are positioned somewhat close to the edges of the diaper. Regarding the interiors, the waterproof panel of the Lalabye Baby is a little bit larger, and it itself is actually a flap, whereas on the Funky Fluff it is more narrow and it is not a flap. The flaps covering the pockets are different as well. On the Funky Fluff at the top, it is definitely much longer and covers more area than compared to the Lalabye Baby underneath here. And the elastics are a little different. The Funky Fluff has upgraded their elastic in their new Luxe diapers. It is stretchy and maybe a little more gentle than their last diaper. And compared to the Lalabye Baby, it's a little bit wider. The Lalabye Baby can have a tendency when you put it on the baby to roll in just a little bit, so some of the rough area can be touching your baby's skin, as you can see along here. Whereas there is a little more suede cloth, in my opinion, around the Funky Fluff elastic of the legs. And the back elastic is definitely much wider here on the Funky Fluff back here compared to the Lalabye Baby on top. And last, as I mentioned, both of these diapers come with a small and a large bamboo terry insert. However, the bamboo of the Lalabye Baby is, I believe, 100% bamboo rayon. According to the tag, it is just rayon from bamboo. Whereas the Funky Fluff is a combination of bamboo and polyester. So this is 80% bamboo viscose and 20% polyester. The shapes are a little bit different as well. The Lalabye Baby are a straight edge shape, whereas the Funky Fluff are a contour shape, meaning they are skinnier here in the middle than they are at the ends. And the Lalabye Baby inserts are both 4 layers of bamboo each, whereas on the Funky Fluff, the smaller one is 5 layers, and the larger one is 6 layers. So now I'm going to move on to some specific categories of differences. The first category is size, and I'm going to compare the Funky Fluff on top of the Lalabye Baby, and we can get a look here at their shapes. So the rise of these diapers is just about the same. I really can't tell a difference. And the wings up here are very similar in their width, but really that's kind of about it. The Funky Fluff on top, the crotch, is definitely more narrow than the Lalabye underneath. And really, it's just kind of narrower throughout the entire middle. The Lalabye Baby is just a wider cut diaper. And going up as far as these back wings back here. So the length of the wings is very similar. The Funky Fluff on top is just a little bit longer. But the cut throughout the Lalabye Baby is just definitely a little bit wider. So now I have the diapers set at their smallest rise settings, and I just want to get a quick comparison between their rises. So as I mentioned, the spacing of the Lalabye is a little bit farther apart, so it does get just a tiny bit smaller in its smallest rise setting. And now I have the Lalabye Baby large insert versus the Funky Fluff large insert. And really, in their length, these are just about the same. And you can see here in the width, the Lalabye Baby is a little bit wider throughout the middle. However, when we compare them like this, you can see that the Funky Fluff is a little bit wider here at the ends, at both the front and the back. So now I have the Lalabye small insert versus the Funky Fluff small insert. And again, these are very similar. The Funky Fluff small is a little bit longer in length than the Lalabye on top. And again, at the ends is a little bit wider. However, once again, the Lalabye Baby throughout the middle is a little bit wider. And you can find all of the dimensions for the inserts and the shells and everything down below, but now I'm going to move on to the next category. The next category is comfort, and here I'm going to be comparing the softness of the diapers. As I mentioned, the Lalabye Baby is lined with TPU and the Funky Fluff is lined with PUL. And the TPU is definitely a little bit silkier and softer than the Funky Fluff's PUL. However, I will just say that compared to some of my other PUL diapers, this is still pretty soft and not very stiff. The suede cloth interiors of these diapers I find to be very similar. They are both very soft and just pill only a tiny bit. That's one of the things that I really like about suede cloth, is that it just doesn't pill as much as micro fleece. So these are definitely very soft inside. And in terms of the bamboo inserts, even though I believe they are different materials, the terry, in my opinion, just feels exactly the same. The Funky Fluff is, like I said, a little bit thicker, so you can feel that difference, but the softness of these terries is just about the same in my opinion. The next category is absorbency, and for this category I did my best to do an actual absorbency test. First, I laid both of the large inserts out on a paper towel. I took a shot glass full of water and I slowly poured it over the middles to mimic the wet zone. And when I lifted the inserts up, you can see that much more water passed through to the paper towel underneath the Lalabye Baby insert compared to that underneath the Funky Fluff insert. I then repeated the experiment comparing both the Lalabye Baby inserts to the large Funky Fluff insert, and surprisingly, I found the exact same to be the case. I repeated the experiment one last time using the smaller inserts, and once again, less water passed through to the paper towel underneath the Funky Fluff insert. So in my opinion, the Funky Fluff inserts are a good deal more absorbent than the Lalabye Babies. The next category is trimness, and first I'm going to compare the large Lalabye Baby insert to the large Funky Fluff insert. So this is the 4 layers of bamboo terry versus the 6 layers of bamboo terry. So as you would probably expect, the Lalabye Baby insert is definitely trimmer. But now I want to compare the 2 Lalabye Baby inserts to the 1 large Funky Fluff insert. Because being only 4 layers, you might need to, even during the daytime, use both of the Lalabye inserts. However, being 6, it's possible that you would only have to use one of the Funky Fluff inserts. So if that were the case, then the Lalabye Baby, the 2 inserts, would definitely be a little bit thicker than the Funky Fluff underneath. So now I have the small Lalabye Baby insert versus the small Funky Fluff insert. And this is again the 4 layers of bamboo terry versus the 5 layers now of bamboo terry. And once again, you can see that the Lalabye Baby insert on top is definitely a little bit trimmer than the 5 layers of the Funky Fluff. And last, I'm just going to compare both of the inserts together. So here we have the 8 layers of bamboo terry of the Lalabye Baby. And we have 11 layers of the Funky Fluff. So as you would expect, the Funky Fluff is definitely, with both inserts, much, much thicker than the Lalabye Baby underneath. The next category is washing and drying. And with my HE washer, normally I like to go with inserts that are as few layers as possible, just because they're easier to clean. However, even though these Lalabye inserts are 4 layers sewn together, I can say they really haven't been all that difficult to clean, at least compared to these Funky Fluff inserts. These just being more layers, the 5 and the 6, and being more absorbent, we have definitely had issues cleaning these in the past. So I would say these are definitely more difficult to clean. When it comes to drying, I line dry my shells, so they really don't take all that long, but the Funky Fluff does take a little bit longer just because of this area in here where the flap is covering the inside. This portion of the shell will take a little bit longer. And when it comes to the inserts, again, these just being less absorbent and being a little thinner do take less time to dry. It's still a little longer than my flats, but it's definitely shorter than these Funky Fluff inserts. These just take a ridiculous amount of time to dry. Definitely multiple cycles through the dryer. The last category is just some additional notes, and I want to point out that the Funky Fluff diaper can actually be bought with the shell and the insert separately rather than the system, and you have a couple different options you can choose from. They have a shell with a bamboo interior lining rather than the suede cloth, and they have a set of inserts that is hemp and bamboo rather than the bamboo terry. So you have a few different options if you don't want to buy the system as it is, whereas the Lalabye Baby automatically comes with the inserts, but you can also buy replacement sets as well. And normally I like to keep these things as objective as possible, but I just want to point out that for my daughter who has larger thighs and a small waist, the Funky Fluff diaper is actually one of the best fitting diapers, whereas the Lalabye Baby is one of the least. And I really want to point this out because they just really seem so similar to me. So it's not something you might see automatically, but really a lot of that is the cut of this diaper. Because it is wider cut, it ends up digging into her thighs a little bit, whereas the narrower cut is just a little more accommodating. And also it has to do with the hip snap placement. And I will be honest, I hated these hip snaps at first. I didn't like that they were on the thigh row, but then I realized that I can actually go over another snap. So I will have this one snapped, and normally you would go over the 2, but I can actually go over 3 on this diaper. And I can get a little bit more room around her thighs, and this will just kind of, you know, bunch up a little bit here, but I won't get leaking because this one is snapped, so it doesn't go over any more than that. But on the Lalabye Baby diaper, I don't have that option because the hip snap is up here. So that's just something I wanted to point out for babies who are shaped like my daughter. This diaper has actually ended up working out pretty well for us. So that's my comparison between the Lalabye Baby cloth diaper and the Funky Fluff Stay Dry Luxe System diaper. These are both super popular. They are so versatile. I love that they come with natural fiber inserts, and I highly recommend trying them out. For more videos, check out my channel, I Dream in Cloth.